Probably everything has just started about like 12 seconds in. I still have a delay and I'll still be on Frontier Internet. But anyway, welcome to Crush System Monster Truck Podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. Hey, wanted to thank everyone that came out. Bridgeport, Connecticut. We just came back from Hall Brothers Racing. Did pretty well. Mark finished a couple times in the top three. Kurt placed third. I won a couple donuts, stuff like that. So, Monster Jam. We're getting ready for Omaha, Nebraska, the weekend of Thanksgiving. Go take a look at that. All you fans up in Nebraska. Omaha lineup's pretty much the same without Stone Crusher and Hooked. So you got Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Just Get Her Done, Miss Get Her Done, Raminator, and Ramunition. So that'd be a fun time. But Brad's a little bit under the weather, changing from fall to winter time kind of hit him hard. So he'll be back on next week. We're going to try to get Paul on next week and go from there, or maybe a different guest. I don't know yet, but we'll see how it goes. But man, this weekend also is my RC event that I'm hosting over at Hall Brothers Racing Shop, HBR Classic. Once again, thank you to Horizon Hobbies, J Concepts, Freestyle RC, and JB Scale Graphics for what they have done. Also, Chris Parrish, Aaron James, and Bob Chandler Jr., Bob C. Chandler. Thank you for your guys' help. That's going to be going this gig, and it's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, next week's guest, I'm going to try to get Paul Wolf on, talk about off-roading stuff and stuff like that. But if anyone can share this to all the groups, like one fan, Collector, and all Monster Truck Attitude, share this and bring this up. But once again, I want to thank Joey Sylvester and High Octane Coffee. Go take a look at his new YouTube channel called The Monster Life. It's pretty cool behind the scenes stuff going on there. Pretty cool stuff. Go take a look at that. Only two shows in right now. One with Wheatland, Missouri, and the other one went to his Indian shop. So take a look at that stuff. J Concepts. Take a look at their stuff. They just debuted some cool bodies and some cool Bigfoot stuff. Firestorm tires. They just had some cool displays going on at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame. Once again, Monster Truck Hall of Fame, thank you for seeing everyone there. I'm sorry I didn't do a live one there. We had a show in Bridgeport. But congratulations to all the people that got in. Steve Hess, the Night Stalker, Steve Combs, Samson One, Don Maples, and Charlie Mancuso from the old United States Hot Rod days. Congratulations to all those folks, and it's awesome to see everyone there. We'll try to make it next year, all you folks, and go from there. Once again, JB Scale Graphics, license also by Bigfoot, Bad Habit, Overkill, Obsessed, many more to come. The Snakebite body just released. Go take a look at that. The old school Overkill Gen 1 wrap is out for you guys. If you guys want to do your old school Overkill, go take a look at that stuff. The truck's right there. That's Overkill number 2, but still love that truck and love everything that Marty does. Congrats on that. Justin Stories makes a book called Making Tracks. $10 on Amazon or Facebook. Contact them. I think it's also on the visual too. Awesome comic book stuff and gift. Support his love of the monster trucks and support comic books in general too. So go take a look at that. Hall Brothers Racing. Thank you for all the decals around the world. Decals here for that you see on the trucks that guests are always on. And thank you so much for your guys' help and support. Also, thank you for letting me still work. Also Back Channel Productions. Go take a look at their stuff too. I think he has a new video out. I gotta double check, but he has a new one just out. If someone could refresh me, that'd be much obliged. But I remember the last video was Winchester, Virginia, but there was one later than that. But go take a look at his stuff too. Back Channel Productions, Nick Davis, cool cat. Thank you for all his support and everything he has done. 6B Apparel. hoodies, $100 a pop. We also got our crew shirts too. Go take a look at that stuff at 6B. Contact me and Brad. We'll get this going for you. Thank you for support and love. Oh, we do have myshop.com. We do stuff. The tracker's right there. Write that, copy it, screenshot it, do what you guys need to do. So you go to crush-this-a-monster truck po.myspreadshop.com. Go take a look at that. We got some cool shirts, Big Bad and Blown. The Crush This got mud. Some cool stuff, guys. Go take a look at that. I can't say that enough, but for all you guys have done. Man, Bradley Shaw Designs too. Design of the Guardian Angel, Pretty Wicked, Stinger, Stomper, American Scout. Doing some cool things, I think, in the future here with some NHRA vehicles. Itself too. So go take some love and go take a look at that. MTRC did a video for them in October. Colby, part of the Monster Bog, does basically what our next episode does in their arena, but RC version, 10th scale instead of the 1/64th scale diecast trucks. He has arena stadium size for 10th scale RC monster trucks, which is awesome. Take a look at their stuff at MTRC on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I think also on TikTok. So go take a look at that stuff. But once again, guys, thank you for being on here. I'm going to play a few ads, and then we're going to have Steve Jones, the creator of Monster Truck Attitude. Man, growing popularity in the Facebook and the Monster Truck collecting and Monster Truck fan world. Love that. It's awesome. He's willing to be on here to talk about it, and we'll go from there. So yeah, let's get this started.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
I do the clap right there for Brad. But, man, Brad, like I said before, Brad Shaw's a little bit under the weather, but we have Steve Jones here, man. Hey, the the creator of the Monster Truck Attitude downhill racing program. Hey, man, before we'll start that off, man, we just want to let people get a feedback. I mean, you're a huge Monster Truck fan. Just recently you took some pictures and hung out at the Digger Shop over there in North Carolina. But let's go back. What got you intrigued with monster trucks, and what was the first kind of show that you saw on television or being live?
Well, I tell you, Cheech, I've been in it I'm 31 years old, so I'll say 30 years. It was when I was a real little kid, man, and my dad introduced me to it. My first couple VHS tapes, Battle of the Monster Trucks, Bigfoot Strikes Again, and that's what really sunk me into it. And when I was 2 years old, he took me to my first show. And like you just mentioned, the Hall of Famers this weekend, Night Stalker was there, Gravedigger 3, Liquidator, Bob Fisher, and them. And we were up there in Landover, Maryland, in the old Capitol Center. And I'll tell you what, man, it was just racing back then. There was no such thing as freestyle. But I really enjoyed it from an early age and just stuck with it all through the mid 90s and up till today, even though, Monster Jam, I'll say it is what it is, but, we still stick with it and try to keep more up with the independents and what those guys are doing. So, I've been with it and following it for years and years now. So it's just taken a life of its own and it's become my life basically.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. You transformed. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Like how did your monster truck attitude came about? Were you watching a previous film from someone else, and then you just wanted to just have some fun to see what it's like downhill, and then how did that snowball effect happen?
Right. So if a lot of longtime people remember the MTA group as a buy sell trade group for diecast or collectibles, whatever. And I was sitting there scrolling the interwebs, and it was mainly when the COVID thing hit in early 2020 and all the shows disappeared. And I was like, man, all these guys ain't getting to go to these shows. And I was like, there's got to be something we can do to, create that authenticity of it. And you go on YouTube, and at that time there was a couple different channels out there, and what some people have referred to me as, they were carpet muncher channels. They'd go down this little trail into the living room floor, and that was about it. Whatever truck went the farthest got the win. And I was like, there's got to be something a little more real to it. And I set up a little sandbox and it really just snowballed on its own, and it got bigger and bigger. I didn't really expect it to be as big as it is now. It took a lot of hard work to get where we're at now. And the people that are involved with it, their involvement with sending in trucks or wanting to compete, and it's really gotten so big, and it's a lot to do by yourself because you got to keep track of people's records and all this. And I wanted to create that weekly show that everybody can come out and get involved in, and much like the monster trucks used to be on TV each and every week, kind of one show to the next. And I wanted to get the people involved with it more than anything versus just throwing some trucks down a track, and really start to create the realism with just a diecast toy.
And when I mentioned earlier about like Colby Marshall and his MTRC, he did this kind of arena type deal. Yeah. And let's talk about that arena setup. You have the downhill, which every YouTuber or personnel would have the starting base of the monster truck way. But you throw in jumps, cars, and stuff like that. What got you the essential idea of maybe doing something like that and making it into an arena type feel?
Just to bring the realism of an actual stadium event going on, and to create that, like if you were actually watching it inside of an arena, or if you went to like the Citrus Bowl, the Silver Dome, whatever. I'm talking about all these old stadiums, but just to give it that real feel with the audience in the backdrop versus just, some shelving or, a wall, something like that, just to create that, realistic crowd feel.
And I think another thing, one of my questions is how your product is different, which I kind of now just broke in different pieces. And I think another thing that's different than the other group is like your announcing. The announcing of the program kind of reminds me of old syndicated Tough Tracks with Brett Kepner in the background doing his thing. And what got you, did you have any announcing or radio type work previously? Like, how did you master your craft on doing that? Because you do a lot better than some announcers in a real monster truck show with the facts and stuff like that. So how did you master the craft of announcing what's going on in the program? I know it's a layover, but still, you gotta be knowing what you're talking about to make the product good.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I appreciate that comment as well. Several people have told me that, and honestly, that came on a wing and a prayer, to be honest with you. When I first started out, it was real slow and real monotone. It was kind of like, all right, down the straight stretch. And over time, I was like, man, I really got to bring that energy up to get the crowd excited, much like you would a real show. So I just started messing around with it and just getting a little more amped up. And it's hard to turn that switch on and off. Like when you come in off a day's worth of work and now you got to, like you said, do that layover of the entire show. It's like you got to flip that switch, man, and you're full bore into it. And, having the monster truck knowledge behind it of knowing what you're talking about, much to like what you just said, but, there's some guys out here that are running these YouTube channels that don't know a sway bar from a heim joint, and they're thinking they're the best. And it's like, it's not even about that. To me, it's never been about the cloud of it. It's just been about bringing everybody and getting them involved. But I never had any radio experience, no commentary experience, just kind of laid it out there one day. And I was like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to say it. And this is what I want to present to the audience, down the road.
And I think it's also cool how every month you honor the people that win that month. So, like, if one guy I don't know the name of him, but he drives West Virginia Mountaineer. He won, 3 or 4 of that month. You go 4-time Thunder Monster Truck champion. Or, it's kind of cool. You're giving credentials, letting people know, hey, this truck's been rocking it for quite some time, and it gets people into the mood. I mean, you started like, okay, let's go back when you first did it. How many people signed up? And now let's fast forward to today, and you almost have 75, 80 people trying to get into 15 spot.
Yeah, first starting out, man, I was sitting there at the registration post, and I was like, come on, guys, we need like 5 more people. And it took like an hour to fill it. Now, man, when we post registration, it's under 30 seconds. That thing is, we're booked up to the sky. And it's like, that's where a lot of the repercussion comes in, because I announce when registration is going to be ahead of time. And, the people that don't make it in, they would start messaging me at all hours of the night. Hey man, I tried to get in so-and-so, or hey, I'm in. I'm like, dude, no, you're not. I told you guys, and it becomes a complete mess. And there's been some people that feel to air their dirty laundry on the page, and I'm sure a lot of the guys see it, and it's really embarrassing. And I hate when they do that, all honesty, because it kind of makes you look bad in a way. And the internet's no place to get into a pissing match, really. And how things can blow up at any time, and it's the keyboard, so everybody's got an opinion. So
yeah, especially when it's downhill toy racing based off of gravity and how the truck approaches the ramp. I mean, technically it wasn't in their control anyway. All they're doing is just making the legitimacy of having their name next to the truck, and let's see how it goes, and,
right.
And I kind of chuckle when people get into it, but then there's other people that, that get into it also with can't say fantasy base, but to
right.
a point where, it's like, okay, I'm getting into it, let's do this. And there's like kind of a little borderline between, take it easy and all right, have fun with this. But there, and there's also the time where you got to back it down and know, dude, this is, if you're that upset, how about just making your own program? It's a toy.
Yeah.
It goes about that, right now I'm 0-5 for signups, so I'm perfectly okay with what's going on. I always forget that I'm, Nathan's like, oh, Nathan Smith, he's been in your program with the Monster Mutt truck. He's a coworker of mine, so he lets me know, hey, this is happening, and I sometimes rain fire and let go. And I said, oh man, that's closed up. Ain't that big of a deal. But and I sign up, and I let the spinning wheel take control, and if my name's on, that's cool. If not, I move on. So and then the cool thing is you're also introducing a new wave of people to the old school life. You're bringing old school monster trucks. You're dividing some of the program into different things, not just the mainstream, Thunder that you normally do. You also do like these, like the Sunday night deal where the like 8 classic monster trucks, or 8 theme trucks and stuff like that. And what got you also thinking about using this, platform to help people out the history of monster trucks a little bit, about names and stuff like that?
When we kicked off the Thursday Night Thunder deal, I noticed we were using very good blend of new trucks, and sort of we were touching on some of the older trucks, but it wasn't up until, this is something I really wanted to do, but it really wasn't up until Mike Harper put on that show in Raleigh. And I was like, I was over the moon for that and everything he'd done. And I said, man, and I had that little show, Sunday Night Madness, going on, just a little 8-truck deal. And I was like, what if I took 8 of the, 80s, TNT tough tracks, and I really put that Scott Douglas, Army Armstrong spin on it. And, I started looking at the custom shop, seeing what we had laying around, and ran off some decals and got some decals made. And, every truck's, I build all the trucks that compete in the shows. We have had people send some in that they build and they want to compete, which is cool. And I really want to bring that old school vibe and really show the newer generation just how awesome the old school style was. Yeah, they were heavy leafers and, they really just raced the whole time. But, man, some of that action back in the day was second to none. You would get so amped up, cheering on Steve Wilkie and USA 1, or you were pulling for Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. And I really tried to get the essence of that 80s feel back into the modern day with die-cast toys. And obviously, kids or something see those die-casts on the track knowing you can't buy them anywhere. And it's a good blend between old Hot Wheels bodies mixed with a little green light on a Spin Master chat. It's a little mix of everything into one toy that I build. And then it's just all in how they go down and perform, man. And just bringing up the old names like, John Moore, who we recently lost, and Starvin Marvin Smith, keeping those guys, their memories alive, and Steve Wilkie as well. And then, as well as, Mike Wine with Outlaw, Dennis Anderson and Gary Porter and all those guys, John Kwasniewski, a lot of guys that made me a big fan of it. I try to just pass it on and try to keep it as relevant as possible, with today's generation.
I have a suggestion. I'm going to say this live. Yeah.
Okay.
If you do another series like that, you should do the top 6 like in the early 90s. A Taurus, Carolina Crusher, Equalizer, Barefoot, Bigfoot, Gravedigger.
Yeah.
And then do the like a little bit of points standings against like the top 6 trucks in the nation back in the early 90s. That was what I always brought back, and if you ever do one of those again, or if you are continuing on, that'd be a cool lineup right there to do the honor, like the 91, 92 Camel Mud and Monster Truck Points Championship,
Yeah,
top
dude.
6 in the world.
Absolutely. I'd love to do something just like that, or even just kind of, I was talking with a buddy of mine who, Mitch Brown, who runs Midwest Madness. He's another guy that's dabbled into the die-cast racing as well. And he messaged me the other day. He goes, man, it'd be kind of neat. Get some trucks together, throw down like the old Pin to Point series and try to get something going on like that. And I was like, yeah, dude, that'd be really cool to do. And, just different eras and, different generations of fans that have come and gone or stuck with it the whole way. It's more or less trying to get everybody involved because, the modern fan today that would turn on a Monster Jam, man, if they only had a clue how we got here, it's really amazing. So.
Right. And, you keep on pushing this, and it's pretty freaking cool how, you get all designed, you get the logos all ready to go, and then you make the track design and stuff like that. And, it's pretty, I think it's also cool that you have legends also interested, like Gene Patterson.
Oh, man. Rick Dishroon has got in a couple.
Yeah, how cool is it that let's talk about, let's back this up. Like you said before, not a lot of people signed up when you first did it. Now you have almost 75 to 80. Now you have a big community, double the way it is. People are going left and right trying to get into this program.
Right.
What you started was to help entertain people during COVID, just blossomed, and now you have legends driving, picking Snakebite, and that Snakebite truck is one of the top tier trucks that you have in the lineup in the Thunder group. It's unusual hearing the West Virginia Mountaineer being a top dog, but in your product, it's one of the top dogs. It's just about hair. Names that you actually don't hear in real life. You hear in real life, but you don't really consider them, Gravedigger, Max D, Bigfoot, or Bounty Hunter type caliber. In your
Right.
product, though, they are in that level.
Yeah.
And but I'm going all over the place here. But
It's all right, man.
the community itself, talk about them, because it's just crazy how it gone. Like you said, it started out with a diecast group. You went ahead and took time because you wanted to fill in the void that a lot of people were missing back in 2 years ago to now. Now you
Right.
have it blossomed. You have people out of the woodwork, legends of the sport, even just trying to have some fun.
Yeah.
And then, you got, people lining up the door, lining out of the door just to get a chance to see some trucks going downhill racing. I mean, how awesome is that, though? To see something organic
Yeah.
grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, like you say, you plant the seeds, it will grow. But it has taken a slow grow, I will say. Going back to what you said, if we take it a step back, early on, I think what really caught everybody's eye was the custom trucks I would build. And obviously you share on social media, the Instagrams and Facebooks, and uh, when you take those trucks that you can't really get anywhere and you start racing them and they're all detailed up, it really draws your eye into it, because it's like, man, was that real? Because if you take a good shot of it, it damn near looks real on the camera. So I know, if we go way back, Gene Patterson, he honestly, he reached out to me, and he told me he watched the product and how he enjoyed it. His family will sit down and watch, and it blew me away, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, there's a little toy, and I got a legend in his own right, telling me how great it is. And I was like, holy smokes, man. He was like, hey, man, I'd really like to sign up. How do I sign up? And I gave him the rundown. Next thing I know, he was logged in, and I was like, dude, it's only fitting if we put you in Snakebite. He goes, I agree, let's do it. Of course, here come the actual Colt Cobra driving Snakebite on the circuit, which is crazy to me. And then Rick Disharoon, out of Maryland, he messaged me and told me how cool it was. And I actually built him a couple backdraft die casts and sent them off to him just for his display and collection, and he got involved there for a little while. Several other names have come up along the way. I can't name them all off the top of my head, because, as you know, we go through a rack of names every month. So, but the community as itself, I say it often, and I say it a lot in the videos, and not to take a knock off Dennis Anderson whatsoever, but I mean, without that community, man, what do you got? You got nothing. And I thank these guys, because they support what I'm doing with just a toy, like you said, a die-cast race, and the heart and soul they put into it, or the messages they send me to try to get involved or tweak this and change that. It's so cool. Or they want to send something in, whether it be a track prop, or they want to send me a set of decals to build them a different truck from everybody else. And that community, I can say it's a fan base. So many people have wanted to reach out, and they sent me fan mail, which blew me away. I never expected to get fan mail a day in my life, but I'd get a random pack. They were like, hey man, send me your PO box or send me your address, and I'm gonna send you some. And they write letters, and it really blew me away. And I honest to God mean that MTA is nothing without the community. And if it went away tomorrow, I feel like I let everybody down, and I feel like it's a commitment each and every week to give them guys a show, because you owe it to them, because they've stayed committed for so long. And just like last weekend, we had issues doing some editing, and we couldn't get the video to produce the right way, and we had to push the show. First time ever, 127 weeks in a row, we had to push the show to Thursday night, from Thursday to Saturday. And it killed me to do it, but man, the views on that video took off, and it kind of blew my mind, really. But that community is everything behind MTA.
And then you also add off some one-off products too. It's not just Sunday night and then Thursday Night Thunder or Sunday Night Madness. You also, have some special one-off stuff that people have to pay attention up just to sign up and stuff like that. And like you said, like, there's always gonna be controversy, and the filtering of people waiting online waiting outside the door just to get in. I mean, every month's like Black Friday for you. And but still, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. Everyone has a fair shot. You're based off the wheel. You get in.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's okay.
There's always next time.
And like I said, there's some people that, um, take it a little bit too seriously, but there's others that, hey, will have fun and stuff like that. But that's the nature of the beast. When you have something that good, people get competitive,
Yeah,
and
they do. They do.
they'll try their best to try to get in, or they'll you know put a reminder after seeing your reminder saying, hey, Thursday night at 7 p.m. sign in, I'm in.
Yeah,
Some people jump the gun and say I'm in as soon as you post it, and it's like that doesn't count. But
yeah,
still, the people are still putting a reminder and stuff like that and getting ready to go, and it's just so crazy that people would do that. But then that's the love that they have for just being part of monster trucks in general, and you giving them option to feel that way. You have monster truck video games like Beam and ROR. You got RC monster trucks. You got the real life. But a lot of people may not have the chance to go buy a $700 or build a $1,000 RC truck that
sure.
will look like a full scale version, or you don't have people. People can't buy a full decked out computer that can be their favorite truck or custom design. The best way they have a chance is going through your program.
Right. Yeah, man. The RC community is really big. I've actually watched you perform out there on Trigger King with so many other great drivers that run on there, man. And Trigger King is probably one of my favorite YouTube channels. You and Josh Rhodes and all you guys get together out there and just rip them things apart. And I'm like, man, I can only imagine the dollars that go into that, keeping them trucks going.
And then I have to look to my left and look to my right. There's the full size one too, and that they're relying on Mark and Tim Hall to supply that going on too. And I do appreciate it. Thank you. In the Trigger King group and MTRC and stuff like that. And there's all, like I said, there's all forms, so many different forms of racing communities and stuff like that. And so here's a question: when you do the racing, every race that you do is a take. You could see the truck's wheels are going left and right, or one going perfectly straight and level. Have you ever had to take a retake, or just or every take of a race that's what you get?
Yes. We've done retakes before. Like we'll line them up at the starting line once we drop the pins and they go down. I mean, I've had Essence where they hit the first jump and just immediately bolt to the right-hand side of the track. I'm like, well, that ain't no good. Who's going to watch that? I wouldn't say, I will never, ever say it's rigged, because it's not. It's when I feel you got a good pass and both guys, what I'd hate the most is double rollovers, because it's unreal to me when they're just going down and they're cartwheeling all across the track. To me, that's no good. And if I've actually recorded, 3/4 of an episode of Thunder, not liked how it went, scrapped it, and just started over with fresh ramps, rebuild the track a little bit, tweak it. But in answer to your question, yes, there has been retakes of what I feel could be legitimate and could be right to make the show more real. Hell, I've had trucks make that first jump fly clean clear off the table and land on the floor. So I'm like, well, need a heck of a rotator to get that bad boy up on the ground. But, just anything to make it that much more authentic. And once I feel that, usually it's a one and done, and they're that race is, done. There's been times where you've had to redo it a couple times, but, mainly it's just because they get a bad pitch off the ramp, or if the ramp's cut too low, they'll come barreling down that hill and the front tires will barely go up. And once those rear tires hit, it'll start cartwheeling. And it'll do it all the way across the table. And I'm like, nah, that's just not real to me. So, yeah, we've done some retakes before.
And now I also have to go a little bit more on this topic. It's not even a topic I brought up. It's some of the finer details, not just the main program itself, like how you use another, like just say someone in Max D drives, wins the race, but rolls over. You flip him back over and it's missing a hood, or missing a half of a body, and then you bring it out. Or some of the steel photos, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Like I started getting into, well, people buy action figures. It has to be the legit right action figure, so they
Right.
could take an action shot. And I'm
Yes.
like, what do you mean action shot? Well, they make a city, like for instance, if they buy this part of Batman, they have to have that same exact Joker so they can put a scene together in a photography that makes it look like it's real and legit, and they're using action figures. Well,
Right.
I'm trying to explain that is there's some photos that you take that looks like, you know, the guys are changing the tires and putting them on the hauler, or you see in the background one truck's parked in the hauler on the hauler, and then you have another one that's getting tired up, or you have guys working on the trucks itself. Like that takes some time and action to do, not just
Yeah.
the racing itself, but not the behind the scenes, but making a behind the scenes type deal
Yes.
with this action, with the figures and the die cast itself. I mean, what how long, how many I mean, obviously you have 2 or 3 different Max D's. So
Yeah.
like what got you going with that too?
All right, so if we take it back to the first part of your question, say if Max D won in the finals and he rolls over, you flip him back over and the body's all tore up. During the live action shot, that's the real truck, the real deal that rolls over. When the truck comes back on all fours with the loader, that's all we're doing there is in between scenes is we're switching out bodies. And we'll take a clapped out Max D body that either A, you can pick up at a flea market fairly easy, or I've ripped them clear out of the brand new box before, and just, the essence of breaking them up and trying to make them look damaged like you would see on a TV show or in real life. And when they flip them back over, there's damage done, and that now the crew's got to go to work and the truck's got to get ready to show up, for next week to present that flag and keep it going and moving on. And as far as going down to the pits, I feel like today's, I'll say FS1 and Monster Jam, they still show it here and there, but you don't get that in between round down in the pits feel of, hey man, we went down there, we snapped the spindle off the truck, we're not going to be able to make it back for semifinals, so that means so-and-so is going to come back. And it used to kind of leave you in a little bit of suspense because you knew in the back of your mind while the show was going on, this truck rolled and got hurt. And it's, say if it's your favorite driver, you want to see them come back, and unfortunately they can't. And just trying to bring again that realism to the scene and show the monster truck audience that it ain't all just sunshine and rainbows. There's true blue guys out here breaking down these trucks, loading them up from show to show, and it's a grind, man. And it ain't just, I could go a completely different way here with flying in, but there's a true blue grind to it, and a lot of people miss that aspect. They think it's all just blonde hair, blue eyes, lets me sign autographs, and we're on to the next one, So
Yeah, I hear you on that one. But still, it's kind of cool how you make that kind of this 164 scene into like you said, some of the photos that you have taken makes it look like the truck is really there and stuff like that, and the precision of detail that you take your time to do, and you're doing this all in good fun.
yeah,
A lot of people not understanding in this community that you're just doing this for fun. You could stop anytime you want.
Yeah.
You can be like, I'm done. I'll just go watch some monster trucks, but I'm done with this stuff. But people not understand, you set the records, you let people know, hey, you're a 5-time Thursday Night Thunder champion, or the detail and different logos and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people will help appreciate what you have done. And I'm guessing people probably try to offer to help you out with financially, huh?
Yeah, honestly, no one's ever offered financially help. It's all been just get up, go to work like everybody else every day. And I'm a heavy equipment mechanic, so a lot of that stuff you do daily actually ties over, into the monster truck world, with hydraulics or electric over hydraulic motors, stuff like that. You're talking spindles, kingpins, planetaries, rear differentials. It all kind of ties up together. And, but no one's ever actually offered to help financially. Never really asked for any financial help because I feel like that's a no-no. You just kind of don't do that. So,
Yeah.
uh, we have released several T-shirts, and we've had people buy them up or just to support the page and the channel, and which is really cool. Or we had a batch runoff where I reached out to what's his name, Rick Disharoon and Backdraft in the metal shop, and I asked if we could put their logo on it. And CSOC Motorsports, I reached out to them, and Kyle Bucket, he was so cool to let me do it. And I said, these shirts aren't for sale. It's just for when someone wins a 32 truck race, I'm going to ask them what size shirt they wear, and they're going to get a free MTA shirt, as with the 80s graphics on it at the time, just as a, here you go, a little, prize.
Man, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know about that, man.
That was probably 2 years ago.
But still, I mean, that still makes someone appreciate it. I guess that's maybe one reason why people get into it, because there's a prize, I guess, that maybe, someone may not know, but, that's still pretty cool. Like, just put icing on the cake, you may just say. And man, if someone's watching this program or about to listen to it, where can someone get interested in signing up and all that? What type of social media can they follow you at?
So you can follow Monster Truck Attitude on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And those are the big four, I call them, to basically showcase what we do in some kind of aspect. With the new YouTube shorts, I've been trying to capitalize on that as much as possible, showing everything. It's kind of hit or miss with it, really. I guess you got to hit that right algorithm at the right time each and every week. And, some videos do really well. Other videos, 48 views. It's like, oh, that one kind of sucked. And that was kind of a good race too. So, but Instagram, I think we're just over 2,000 followers. So, I mean, not too big on there. I was building that up to more showcase the trucks, because it's Instagram. You showcase your pictures. We've posted some videos over there that people been asking for more on Instagram. And I'm like, I don't want to flood my page up with it, but I mean, I can definitely do that if they want. But Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, they can find us, and they can register on Facebook in the group. And we hold registration by the end of each month. And how you enter, I'll make a registration post, and I'll say when that post is going to be beforehand. The window of opportunity is, like I call it, is open for 10 minutes for anybody and everybody to say they're in. It's the fairest way I could possibly make this nowadays, but I take everybody's name. You get put into that magic, random wheel. The first 15 names that get picked are in the show, and obviously the champion from that last week carries over into the new season.
So that'd be your 16 truck field with the 15. Okay. So that's cool. They explain to someone that's watching or going to be listening how to get in. You just can't randomly just get in. You have to get in a certain point of towards the end of the month when you make a post, and then during that time to get yourself in the position of the program. And then then basically after that, you just follow the program on for that month until registration for the following next month will happen, and hopefully you win the championship. But if not, you just continue on how you've been doing originally. So I mean, that's still a fair way and still a good way of doing stuff, and man, I like to thank you for taking your time for doing this program. I mean, that's a lot of time of figuring out what you're gonna do track wise. After you get the people spinning, after their names getting called out, then you have to go and look at their stats, saying, okay, this guy's been running for how long, or this is a new person. And how does that happen too? When you have a new person behind, let's say, picked out, how do you pick? What makes you pick and choose? Do you ask them what truck they want, or if you just go, I'm going to throw them in Dalmatian? Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so if we get a new guy or girl inside the registration, if they make a request that's not booked and they say, hey, I've never seen, like, we'll say Bulldozer, for instance, I've never seen Bulldozer out there. Is there any way I could possibly drive that truck? I'll say, yeah, absolutely. We'll get you booked in, and we'll make it your truck. And I got no problem. If you make a request for a certain truck, sure, we can make it happen. If the truck's already taken by another driver, obviously we got to go a different way. But in the beginning, man, it was like, okay, I got 16 people. I'm going to write down their truck. And the only reason I started assigning trucks from the very beginning is because I knew as soon as I said, what truck would you want to be? Everybody was going to say Gravedigger or some form of Gravedigger or Max D. And I was like, we got to break this up somehow before we even start. And so it's kind of been like I've never had a permanent driver for Gravedigger on the circuit. It's kind of like hallowed ground. There's always been we got a couple different guys that come in here and there for Gravedigger, but it's still one of those trucks that you try to keep to one person because that's the whole point behind it is when you see like a wild hair come up to the line, that's 13 or 12-time champion Rich Wagner, or now Brodozer, Wild Man Ryan Johnson's behind it. The truck by their name and who's behind the wheel. Much like you would turn on Monster Jam, you're like, oh, you see Dragonoid, Camden Murphy's are in that, or Raminator, Mark and Tim Hall, that crew, you recognize the truck and who's in it just instantly without having to see any stat automatically.
Man, that's pretty cool. Well, anyway, once again, if you want to go on YouTube, it's every Thursday night and every Sunday night?
Yeah, we do every Thursday night at 7:00, and usually the weekends we kind of been just teasing around with little special shows here and there lately. So nothing set in stone.
Man, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on, and thank you for helping us out, talking about the program, letting the program go out. If someone's new, hopefully they join in. But I tell you what, the door's out, the line's outside the door right now. So good luck trying to get in. And, but if you do, have fun, enjoy it, enjoy the community. A lot of diecast lovers, a lot of monster truck fans. And it was pretty cool to have you on to explain basically, this, pretty cool blossoming series and race that you have that's enjoyable.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you letting me come on here, and I appreciate the invite as well for trying to explain what we do and kind of get MTA out there a little bit more, and I'll gladly put one of y'all's banners out here on the MTA track. I'll be glad to represent Crush This, and what you and Brad do is absolutely, incredible, especially with his designs and everything that you're doing with the monster truck scene. And I stay up to date with everybody. At least I try to. So I appreciate what you guys do as well.
Well, if you do a little video or something like a commercial, we'll post it up and do it for you also, and people can watch that and then go from there, man. Yeah, we can self-promote, we can intertwine promotions. Cool. It's the more the merrier. So
absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'll have Brad send you the art files so you can make a little thing, or I could send you a Dackle.
Dackle, yeah.
And go from there. Just get your address. I can send you a few over there, and maybe just make that own right there. We could do something about that. But yeah, man, we could definitely try to show some love and do some videos and stuff like that to get people in and help out. Not self-promotion, but just promotion in general helps out everyone in the community. So
I agree.
Do that.
Cool, man.
But man, thank you so much. Thank you for being on, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
Hey, have a good one.
All right, buddy.
It's awesome for him to be on and whatnot, and thank you for all the fans that watch his program too. It's cool. Go take a look, like I said, every Thursday night, sometimes Sunday night. But once again, guys, this weekend I have my Hall Brothers HPR Classic. Doors open 7:30 Saturday. Registration ends around 9. Racing starts at 9:30. Retro, Sport Mod, Pro Mod, LMT, some freestyle. Food will be available for lunch. Come on down. It's free to watch. The only thing that you have to pay is registration. That's $10 a first truck, $5 after that. So hopefully we can see all you people there. High Octane Coffee, J Concepts, JB Scale Graphics, Bradley Solid Designs, Shaw. Yeah, I got it right. MTRC, Hall Brothers Racing, 6B Apparel, Justin Stories, in Back Channel Productions. Thank you for everyone that helps out. We're also going to promote the Monster Truck Attitude too. So we'll get a commercial in. We'll send some artwork over to those guys and go from there. Next week, we're going to have Paul Wolf. Yeah, it's a little bit under the hour program, but hey, it is what it is. We'll get to it more later on. But thank you to all you folks. Brad will be on next week too. So once again, guys, thank you so much. Watch over your friends. If you have any people, it doesn't hurt to talk to them. Say hi, stuff like that. Donate blood. Try to help your folks and stuff. We get ready for next week. But thank you so much for all you folks for what you guys do. And once again, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Good night. Peace.